Despite what a lot of people want to believe or have been led to believe, Daniel never did prophecy about an Antichrist person, and really he didn't prophesy about an Antichrist spirit. His was to be one who makes desolate, and he's talking about Satan, who is not the Antichrist. Now, John is the one who told us about the Antichrist. And he said he's the only one who used the terminology Antichrist. And he said, little children, it is the last hour, as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming. Even now, many Antichrists have come, by which we know it is the last hour. This is a time period that he's talking about. And of course, we're finding out this time period is at least 2,000 years now because it's been that long since John. He said, you have heard the Antichrist is coming. And even now, many Antichrists have come, by which they know it's the last hour. He's saying back then that the Antichrist had already came. It is already there. It's in the world. And this is a spirit, because we know this from 1 John 4:3, 4:2 and 4:3. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses Jesus has come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that does not confess that Jesus has come in the flesh is not of God. And he's saying this is the spirit of the Antichrist. And he's calling this a spirit. He's not calling it a person or a man. He's calling it a spirit. Now, just like the Spirit of God can be inside of a lot of people, so can the spirit of Antichrist, because it's a spirit. Okay, now let's go back to 2:18. What is he saying? He said, and you have heard that the Antichrist is coming. Okay, and he says, even now they have come. They're already here. And what he's saying is, he's saying, yeah, they're here, and guess what? They went out from us. They weren't part of us. No. If they would have, if they were a part of them, they would have continued with them. But they went out that they might be made manifest. And he's talking about all these people that have this spirit of Antichrist in them. And what being made manifest means, what this being made manifest means, being made known. Okay, so this spirit of Antichrist rose from this faith that was going on at that time 2,000 years ago. And the same subject is involved in it as it's a subject of Jesus Christ and God. And so how do you identify this? Well, John explains it to us. And he says it's really simple. Every spirit that confesses Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is of God. That's pretty simple. How is it that the Antichrist spirit can be in a Christian church? Now understand, it's in some people, but not all the people who are in these, even in a Christian church. And it's because a lot of people are saying right here, they're saying that God came in the flesh and not Jesus. They're not claiming that Jesus died on the cross. They're claiming that God died on the cross, and that isn't right. So that's a clever way for this spirit of Antichrist to come in and take over and make people believe in a God and a Jesus that doesn't exist. A spiritual God and a spiritual Jesus that doesn't even exist. And this is what John was saying about the Antichrist and deceivers that come out of this area. He says in 2 John 2:17, for many deceivers have gone out into the world, do not confess that Jesus coming as in the flesh. Specifically pointing out this is a deceiver and an antichrist. And so that's how you identify this spirit of Antichrist. Well, similar to what John said, Jesus also said, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in truth and in spirit. This is how you identify the Spirit of God from the spirit of the Antichrist. Did God die on the cross? No, he did not. Did his son die on the cross? Yes, he did. That's how you identify it. That's how easy it is. Is it something that Daniel foretold in the future? No, Daniel didn't foretell it. You can read all of the 924, 925, and 926, 27, and you won't find an Antichrist in there anywhere because Daniel did not speak about the Antichrist. When he was talking about The prince who is to come, he's talking about Satan. He's not talking about the spirit of the Antichrist. Jesus said in Luke 10:18, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. So what he's saying is Satan fell before Jesus ever came. But the Antichrist didn't come until after Jesus left. So the two are two different spirits and two different beings. And Satan is not the Antichrist. It's as simple as what John said. Many deceivers have gone out into the world who do not confess that Jesus Christ is coming in the flesh. Quite simply, this is a deceiver and an Antichrist. So there is no man or single person who will stand up. Satan will stand up, but not the Antichrist. The Antichrist is many back then, and it's many in the world today. Simple identifying features. All you have to do is listen to who they claim died on the cross. Did they say that Jesus Christ died on the cross, the Son of God? Or are they claiming that somebody else died on the cross? Or just plain and flat out just rejecting any concept of Jesus at all?